Hello, this is Max Cooper and you're watching Electronic Beats. When I first moved, I was doing a postdoc, so that's I finished doing research in Nottingham, finished my PhD, and then I went into starting doing my own research in London, and that lasted for a while until I decided to, I sort of accidentally transitioned into DJing and music. It was something that had been a hobby for a long time, and I always assumed I would be a scientist, but it didn't work out like that. Just not by my own choice. I was just doing both, and the music it just seemed to, more and more gigs were coming, so I had less and less time to do science, and then that was 10 years ago. I was doing genetics, so I was doing computational biology, so using computers to simulate biological systems. I was simulating evolution of how cells evolve over millions and millions of years to behave like little computers. Inside the nucleus of the cell, they have the DNA, and the DNA regulates through proteins, and they act in this sort of network, which is a little bit like the learning algorithms that Google uses for Google Translate or whatever. It's the same sort of system that operates in on a molecular level inside the cells. So I was simulating how that could evolve over millions of years in biology to do the jobs it does. Yeah, well, there's a lot of similarities really. There's if you take one of the classic like Philip Glass piece of music, it's loop based, right? And electronic music traditionally is loop based, and that link provides lots of similarities. So I think it's a big influence on a lot of electronic musicians. That was my first venture into the world of immersive surround sound in a live sense. I always try, and I spend a lot of time, and I always have done, trying to make my mixes, my stereo tracks immersive with a lot of psychoacoustic effects, so effects that tell your brain that sounds are coming from behind or around you, to try and create that feeling of space in a piece of music. The 4D sound system was the first venture into doing that in a live environment. It has 16 columns with speakers inside and speakers all around the space. You build each piece of music as a physical entity inside that space with moving parts, and you can walk through the sounds and behind them, and they go around you and above you, and it turns the music into this physical entity which you can explore. It opens a lot of doors for composition and new ways of creating music, which I've been exploring ever since in different ways, doing surround sound events and more things with 4D and other projects as well. I'm also doing a project at the moment for a home cinema surround sound, which applies a lot of the same principles. Yeah. So I mentioned the psychoacoustic thing. You can record, with binaural microphones, so little microphones that go inside your ears. You can record real spaces, and it then captures the signals in the sound that tell your brain that there's sounds coming from behind or above or below, whatever. I've been doing a lot of experimenting using those techniques a lot in my production, and that was something which I was already experimenting with a little bit before 4D sound, but then, ever since then I've been experimenting with it more and more, both the simulated binaural or real recordings of in a surround sound environment, or just recordings. I spend a lot of time traveling and recording sounds in different environments, and then taking little bits of those sounds which have these interesting acoustic properties and interesting psychoacoustic properties, using those to build my music, so that the music comes out with this abstract sort of spatiality.